Potatoes, meat, eggs. The only ingredients you need to make this stupid simple breakfast that I have been hooked on eating for the past 10 years. I eat this every day for a few simple reasons. It meets my protein needs on a strict diet. It's dirt cheap and can be made even cheaper when money gets tight. And it's so delicious in such a simple comfort food way that I look forward to breakfast as I crawl into bed the night before. Sure, there's nothing revolutionary about the way this dish looks or about its ingredients, but as someone who cooks all my own meals on the daily, I needed a meal that I could make consistently that would meet all my needs, not break the bank, and be quick and easy enough to prepare a night in advance when I don't have time for a weekly bulk meal prep. This breakfast recipe, or concept really, gets the job done while being mouth-wateringly savory and incredibly filling. That to me is justification enough for me to show you how I make what I've been eating every day for breakfast for the past 10 years. I start with potatoes. Any potatoes will work for this recipe. I just prefer plain old russet potatoes because they are quite literally dirt cheap. I bought this 5-pound bag for only $2. But I won't be needing all of those. I'll be showing you my process for 3 days of breakfast meal prep, so I need 3 meals worth of potatoes. That for me is somewhere around 350 grams of whole potatoes per each meal. 1,042 grams is close enough. This comes out to about 2 small to medium-sized potatoes per meal. I'll wash these. I like to leave the skins on for a few reasons. I don't mind them. They add more fiber to the dish, and it saves time not peeling them. Plus, I like how they turn out with how I'm going to be cooking them. I don't want these to explode in the microwave when I cook them, so I'm just quickly piercing the skins with a fork to allow the steam to escape while they cook. I'm cooking these in separate batches using my microwave's potato setting to show you the difference between bulk meal prepping and night before meal prepping. As you can guess, the bulk meal prep takes a bit more time in the short term since more potatoes simply means longer baking time. Long term, of course, the bulk meal prep option is going to be more time efficient, so that bit of extra baking time up front is well worth it. Meat, or beans, or cottage cheese. These are my go-to lean protein options for this dish. Of these 3, I prefer the turkey bacon you see here, but only because I was able to get it on sale and in bulk. Unfortunately, this is the last of my supply, and I'm going to need to make the protein content stretch to meet the demands of 3 meals. So I'll substitute in about half a serving, 55 grams, of this low-fat whipped cottage cheese, which has 14 grams of high-quality animal protein per serving and helps make the dish more, well, cheesy. On another day, I might just use some chicken I've cooked in bulk for a lean protein. Of course, a nice alternative to meat would be beans, and sometimes I like to go that route, just not today. Throw on a pan and set to medium-high heat. I'll add some water to it to let that start to heat up. In the meantime, check on the first batch of potatoes. I love how the skins crisp up a bit on the outside. Not quite the same as what frying them would do, but the dry skin helps to vary the texture of the now fluffy and light interior of the potato. I'll let this sit and go ahead and nuke the last 2. Normally, if I were just prepping this for one day the night before, this whole dish can be made in the time it takes for just 2 potatoes to bake in the microwave. That's 8 minutes for mine. Back to the now simmering water, I'll add my meat to that, about 56 grams per meal normally, but I'll have to supplement some of that for the cottage cheese as you'll see later. It looks rather odd, but I found that cooking the meat this way helps to carry the spices I'm about to add and creates almost a sauce of sorts once everything is cooked down. I vary the seasonings almost daily, but I always salt and pepper to start. I'll add some garlic and onion powder, and I'm feeling parsley today. I like the color it adds to the dish, not really sure if it does anything for the flavor. Keep breaking up the meat into smaller pieces and stir the spices in. You can already see how those spices have enriched the color of that super simple pan sauce. Delicious stuff. On to part 3 of the meal now, eggs. I'm adding 4 per meal, so a total of 12 here. Am I the only one who barbarically smacks the shells against each other to crack them? It's kind of satisfying. Anyway, 4 eggs might sound like a lot to you, but I find that it works for me. Eggs are an excellent source of protein, 6 grams per egg, and are the second highest food source of bioavailable vitamin B12, just behind liver. 2 reasons I don't mind eating so many of them. And since this already isn't a particularly high-fat meal, I don't mind the fact that whole eggs are relatively high in fat, about 5 grams per egg. This problem, of course, can be completely avoided by simply opting to use just egg whites, but I find that's a waste of a perfectly good yolk. And while some people still seem to be under the impression that high amounts of cholesterol in your eggs is somehow bad for you, I don't blame you. We were all tricked into believing that for a while. I'm not so worried about it, as the human body keenly adjusts for dietary cholesterol, so I'll be fine. Still, you do you. There are many egg replacements out there, but nothing for me comes close to just plain old eggs. I'll quickly whisk these with a fork. First, I just kind of pop all the yolks. There we go. The bacon should be ready, and the pan sauce pretty well thickened up by now, but still a little bit runny. Looks good. I'll add the eggs straight in. The extra water in the saucepan will help keep the eggs from sticking. If I wasn't using a non-stick pan, this would be a lifesaver. I'll stir that around a bit. That initial heat shock I find can really burn eggs if you're not careful. And look, there's the cottage cheese I promised. Seriously, completely replacing the meat with cottage cheese works surprisingly well. And no weird chunks or curds are left behind after cooking either. Eggs are great emulsifiers, and the 12 I have here do a fine job of incorporating the cheese. The one issue that you do get from using only cottage cheese, however, is more moisture in the dish, but that's not really an issue here, as the extra moisture helps to balance out the dryness of the potatoes. Speaking of which, the last two should be done right about now. Sometimes I stir these more, sometimes less. It just depends on the kind of texture I'm wanting at that time. Add a bit more salt to taste, and I go in with some frozen kale for some light, easy veg. Broccoli and asparagus work great with this too. I probably use kale and bell peppers more than anything though. Stir that around and cut the heat. These eggs turned out rather creamy this time, but maybe a little more on the dry side than what I usually shoot for. By now, all the potatoes should be mostly cooled down. If I were just prepping one meal for the following morning, I would just lightly smash 2 potatoes into one of these dishes and pour over the egg mixture. In keeping with the barbaric theme, I'm just going to use my fingers and tear these into thirds, roughly, and try to approximate an even proportion into each microwave-safe container. It doesn't really matter how evenly I split these, as all of the calories here will be consumed over the same 3-day period. Our digestive systems play the long game. My colon isn't going to care if I get all the calories from these 6 potatoes in one day or over the span of 3. You can see just how soft these look on the insides, sort of a fluffy, creamy texture. Love this with eggs. This last one here was a little too hot for my little delicate fingies, so I'm wimping out a bit here. Salt the tots, because salt is the key to potatoes tasting like something. Some in the egg mixture. I'm separating this into thirds as best I can, but again, it all goes down the same hatch eventually. As I pour this stuff into each dish, you can clearly see that there's a lot of moisture in the pan. This is good. The potatoes will soak all of that right up and keep them from being too dry when I go to reheat the stuff in the morning. Cheese. That wasn't one of the main 3 ingredients for this dish. I just enjoy a bit of mozzie melt over top my eggy meat and potato mixture, 20 grams roughly. I'll do that for each dish. Sure, this adds a bit more fat to my breakfast, but that's good for me in the mornings. A relatively high fat and high protein breakfast keeps me feeling full for a lot longer than a more carb heavy breakfast such as cereal or oatmeal. For years, I've only ever ate eggs and sausage for breakfast for that very reason. Then I got more serious about working out and realized I needed more carbs in my diet, and now here we are. I'll just add some cilantro to these. If you know me, you know I love cilantro. Plus it adds a nice pop of color to the dish. Of course, some acid from a bit of lime juice is in order. This just helps to elevate the flavor of the rather simple ingredients in this dish. Neither of these things is necessary though. What is also not necessary, but what I find I smother my breakfast with nearly every morning, is ketchup. That first savory, sweet bite of ketchup on eggs and potatoes is too addicting to stop eating once I start. If I can resist putting that first squirt of ketchup on my meal, I'm in the clear. Once I start, however, I know it's already too late. So yeah, not much of a recipe this is, but its simplicity is the reason why I've come back to this every single day for the last 10 years. Maybe don't think of this as a recipe, but as a concept rather. Potatoes, meat, eggs. Dress them up however you'd like. If these 3 ingredients are a part of your breakfast routine, you can't be disappointed. For me, food may be the way to my heart, but if I use it well, it can also be a way to my health. What will your 10-year breakfast be?